Saturday morning, the Experts program kicks off on Power Talk Radio, and Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joins us to talk technology. Luis, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Mark. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. Looking forward to the weekend, the first full weekend of June, and lots going on this month as we are really into summertime now.
Yep. Kids are out of school for the most part. Well, I think all the schools are done now, and it's going to be busy out there as parents to try to find activities for their kids. So if you're going to be in town, be patient, because you might run into a bunch of families trying to have fun.
Right. Hey, I've got a question for you before we get into the main topic. I got an email the other day from AT&T because they're my internet provider, and I have the fiber service from them. And they sent an email that says, your AT&T fiber includes internet security. Activate it now. And so June apparently is National Internet Safety Month. And it's called AT&T Active Armor. Internet security is included with your fiber service. Activate it today in your smart home manager. So I was curious, if you have this offer from them, do you know if it's any good? And does this take the place of having something like Norton Security or Avast or any of the others on your computer?
It actually enhances what you already have. It provides defense at the firewall, if you will. So it's designed to prevent bad things from getting into your network. The bad guys are always trying to find ways to infect your system that you have connected to your internal network through the firewall. And Active Armor is AT&T's version of a threat protection system that monitors the traffic that's going in and out of your router or modem that connects to your service. And if it detects anything that is malicious, it will block it from even going into your network, so it doesn't even get to your desktop.
Okay.
So it's actually a really good service, and it's free, so I would definitely turn it on.
Okay. But if you turn it on, is it going to do something where it's going to create a firewall that you're going to end up having to do port forwarding so that you can get to certain devices and so forth that you normally now see on your network?
Not necessarily. There are, for example, I'm using Comcast, and they have a similar service that I had turned on a while ago, but it interfered with some of the desktop apps that we use in our office, like Microsoft Teams. And so I had to turn it off. But then they later fixed that problem. Enough people, reported the issue that they fixed it. And so I was able to turn it back on. But yeah, you're going to see if you run into any issues where you can't go to certain websites or certain applications don't work well, you can just turn it off temporarily to see if that fixes the problem. And if it does, just report it to AT&T and they'll take care of it for you.
Okay. Yeah, because if you have to get involved in something like doing port forwarding, that's getting into a whole nother level of internet work that is beyond the ability of most people.
Yeah, that's where you need to bring in an expert to make sure you don't create holes in the firewall that are unintended that can't be protected because you really don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, I was working on a piece of equipment last week. I had to, in order to gain access and to see these particular devices, we had to do port forwarding on the router, and it was a much older router, and it was pretty simple. The setting up of the port forwarding. Then the other day I got into an AT&T modem on a UVerse account, and then I started looking at their, how you do the port forwarding on theirs, and it was like, oh my God, this looks like hieroglyphics or something. It was really
yeah. These things have gotten much more complicated, for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, there's an interesting story on Yahoo News that we want to chat about here. And the company Cruise, Cruise, can now charge for fully driverless rides in San Francisco. So it looks like the autonomous vehicle is truly here.
Yeah, so this is a big news because this will be the first time anywhere in the country where a cab company has been given a license to operate driverless cabs. They don't have a safety driver. They are, it's designed to do what it's supposed to do. Now, there are some limitations. For example, it can only work at night from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., but that's fine because that's when most of us need a cab.
Right.
As we're from bars and whatnot. And it can only operate at a maximum speed of 30 miles an hour. So it's perfect for the streets of San Francisco, which, are narrow and tend to have lower speed limits. And I think it's a first step into a very lengthy process to have the, confidence built by the public. Now, these guys have been testing these vehicles in San Francisco for a few years now, and they've, collected I would say trillions of the data bits and have used that to develop algorithms that are much better at just traveling the highways and byways of San Francisco than anywhere else. So that's why it's just limited to the city. But we're going to start seeing more of these licenses being issued. I know that Phoenix is just on the cusp of allowing driverless taxis in the city there. And that's going to be during daytime, not just at night. So, next time you call for a cab in one of these big cities, you might find yourself sitting in the back seat with nobody in the front seat.
Oh, that's crazy. Now Cruise is a company owned by GM to basically promote autonomous vehicles and driving. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, a lot of the car companies, all of the car companies, quite frankly, from Tesla to GM and Ford and Mercedes and Toyota, they're all involved in some, way or fashion in these driverless car concepts, sometimes funding other companies like Cruise or startups. In some cases, like Tesla, doing it on their own. Tesla's been touting its ability to have their cars drive themselves, although they will always, add the caveat that a driver has to be in the seat and their hands have to be on the wheel. But they all are looking for the holy grail of getting to the point when, you don't need drivers in cars, and you'll be able to, call on cabs and the price of them will be much less because all of these cars are electric powered, right? So there's no need for fuel. So they're going to be very popular and with gas prices hovering at $6 a gallon. We'll see where this goes, but I'm excited about this first step.
Okay, well, interesting stuff, and we'll talk about this in the future, I'm sure. Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest today online. It's alvareztg.com, at AlvarezTG. That is the Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team?
Give us a call at 866-78-I-TEAM. That's 866-784-8326.
And looking ahead to Monday, Luis, tell us what we're going to be talking about in the 8 o'clock hour and the rest of the day.
Well, we're going to be talking about a Texas law that the Supreme Court has struck down, and it's a First Amendment issue, so it's really interesting.
All right, so be sure to join us starting in the 8 o'clock hour here on Power Talk. Thanks so much, Luis.
Take care, my friend.